Hello, my name is Parker and I'm joined by Kira, and we used Microsoft 365 Copilot AI to prompt our IMC plan for our product unisex racing skis made by Rosin.
First, we tried prompting the IMC plan a couple of times just based on the customer profile from the previous assignment, but weren't getting all the information that we wanted. So we then tried prompting with attachments, and that finally gave us a satisfactory output.
As part of our process, we fed AI two attachments. The first labeled sample IMC, which was a sample given to us in our instructions. The second called customer profile Alex Tremblay, which was our previous customer profile and picture. We then used the following prompt. Using the sample IMC worksheet, come up with a new IMC plan for the customer profile Alex Tremblay, and the results were being as such.
Because we had experience from prompting outlines using AI from our past trials, doing so this time was easier, and because we still have access to our other project, we were able to use it to assist this one by erasing the concern of needing to gather a bunch of information all over again.
Additionally, the feedback we received in class in relation to the other project has helped us to better understand the requirements for critiquing the AI program and what to look out for.
Regarding what was right or wrong with the AI, although it mentioned PR, it failed to give an example or strategy for that specifically. It failed to include the younger generation, as the first project did. Budget allocations for influencer partnerships and objective percentages seemed a little high, but besides that, it gave us a lot of solid ideas for what IMC tools would be beneficial, with corresponding examples, accurate timings, and decent evaluation metrics.
Our product is in the growth stage, but COVID had massive impacts globally that shifted the skiing industry in many varying ways, with travel restrictions, capacity restrictions, and little inner voice for people to stay safe by isolating, thus making it impossible for skiing to be as popular as in previous years.
However, there has been a recent uptick in the amount of visitors going back to the ski hills to suggest that it's gaining back some of the popularity it's lost over COVID. Though this sounds like growth, there are still many challenges facing the sport, which include, but are not limited to,
Climate change,
you can't ski on a mountain with no snow.
cost and accessibility,
Not only can I not afford the gear or ski passes, but the hotel gas prices to get to the hills have doubled since I was a kid.
demographics.
Old folks are phasing out and young people just ain't interested. Even Google searches for skiing are down.
Overall, while skiing has seen some recent uptakes in participation, the sport is facing significant long-term challenges, particularly from the climate change and an aging demographic, which suggests a future decline for the sport as it is currently practiced.
AI did represent the correct stage of the product life cycle, but as mentioned above, it fails to account for the decline that skiing has seen and as a result, makes some statements that are presumptions for the situation at hand.
And because of this error, the generated information does not include a segment that suggests the company needs to work towards regaining or creating more awareness and interest for their products.
Since we've highlighted the fact that the generation of people who are skiing is changing, the AI generation does a good job of accounting for ways in which they can best appeal to new consumers, aka using online methods. Using social media and such also makes it very convenient to schedule the timing as you can swiftly get information out, targeted towards those who interact with the live content.
And something that may want to consider changing would be to focus less on influencer marketing. Say, for example, someone already has an inclination that they want to try skiing. That's great, and that's good for them. But Chris Pratt, for example, isn't going to make your everyday person want to buy $1,300 skis. That's my rent, for crying out loud. Public relations also being another tactic that is less likely to have much significance for this sort of product.
Like last time, there aren't any issues with the AI generating made-up content, and I account this in part due to the fact that we have a very specific product by using keywords like unisex and racing rather than simply prompting for a pair of skis. This allowed the AI to do a more refined search and look for data it could pull that related directly to our company and our product's features instead of making its own assumptions.
Because AI is continuing to advance every day, it is also becoming more refined, and it is learning to use grammar properly to make itself a more credible source.
Overall, I feel like the AI created a decent IMC plan as long as we ignore the fact that it lacked in the realm of up-to-date and fully inclusive information. It includes a bunch of communication tools and examples to support the use of each one it suggests. Its evaluation relates to the tools proposed, and it has a good understanding of the quality skiers look out for and how to schedule their advertising accordingly.
Now, after reprompting to get a new AI generation, we found that there will always be some way to improve the document, whether it was drafted by AI or a human. There will always be some way to make it better. And if you kept on asking me or you kept on asking AI to improve the document, we would both keep trying.
However, in this situation, we got to a point where we felt it was good enough because nothing will ever truly be perfect.
In any case, though, a human would have to go and refine this IMC plan to ensure that it is more fleshed out and meets all the requirements and any demands for that specific company's plan.
AI has contributed to our assignment by quickly collecting a bunch of information from all sorts of sources and putting it into the type of structure or style that we want to ask for, that we don't have to do it ourselves.
So technically, AI is doing all the grunt work and we're just taking the credit for it?
I guess so, but anyways.
I mean, it's a good thing. My boss is my best friend. I mean, if they don't like my use of AI, I'm sure they'll let me know. However, I have no problem telling them that it assisted in my endeavor.
Personally, I feel like it could depend on the situation. You obviously don't want to say, hey boss, I used AI for this whole project. But you may want to make note if AI assisted you towards making better decisions so they know to inspect your work more carefully for any AI mistakes and to better understand your actual capabilities.
I think full transparency is always most important in your workplace. Your boss should know what you're doing and how you're doing it. I imagine you would need to include some sort of acknowledgement, whether it be written or verbal, towards AI assisting you in your work. I mean, maybe they don't want to hear that you used AI, but I'm sure they'll always appreciate your honesty.
The issue of citing the sources AI takes from goes back to the idea of using AI as a tool to enhance your work rather than having it make the whole project for you. Reinserting the information the generation gives you into Google might help find some of the sources that we use, but otherwise, to be on the safe side, you should reword what the generation gives you after consulting with sources you can actually identify.
I mean, to finish this off, I feel like the only way to differentiate yourself from AI is to just avoid it completely. If your company is against using AI, then don't use it. But if they allow it, the only way your AI will be unique is all depending on how you talk to AI yourself. So in essence, everyone's AI chatbot can be different than the next because of the way we all prompt AI differently.
But going back to how you could identify which idea belongs to who, you could treat the content AI creates like something exciting. You could say, AI suggests, and so forth, to clarify who contributed to what part, or speak and write in a totally different style so that it is obvious there are two different speakers sharing their ideas.
Speaking of sharing, are you gonna pass any of that pizza?